Just from what I can tell, um, I think they were just defeating blocks, making plays. Is what I think happened for the most part. But I can't really tell for sure. Have to look at the tape. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to throw anything under the bus. You know, sacks have to do with a lot of things. It has to do with just the concepts that the coach calls. Okay, starts there, goes to obviously protection of linemen, backs, tight ends. Has to do with route running. Has to do with making decisions. It has to do with getting the ball out too. Sometimes you got to get the ball out. So to put all the sacks on the offensive line really is not a fair assessment. You know, if you throw the ball as many times as we throw it, there's going to be some sacks here and there. There's going to be some big plays both ways, and that's kind of the way. It's kind of feast or famine sometimes against, that type of defense.
You guys are pretty beat up on defense. How does that impact trying to get a big play, helping out your offense, get some non-offensive scores?
Well, the bottom line is we got to put more points on the board than we did offensively for sure. And, I'll take points any way we can get them. But, there have been a good many injuries on the defensive side of the ball. There's been a couple here and there on offense, but the defense has, had taken the brunt of the injury on the injury front. And, some guys obviously, weren't here. Hopefully, a couple of them will get back, sooner than later. But we just got to score more points, period.
Mark, 3 losses at this point in the year. Some people could look at that. Some guys inside the locker room could look at that and say, well, we're not going to get to Orlando anyway. Do you have to say anything to them in that regard, or what do you say?
What do I say? I say continue to work hard, continue to be loyal to your teammates, continue to fight, and it starts with the coaching staff.
Coach, were there things you could not do tonight because of the crowd noise? How much did it impact you?
I wouldn't say so. We did flinch at least once. A lot of times, the defense will stem, meaning they'll move, they'll shift real quick, and sometimes that'll cause the offense to flinch. I couldn't tell if they shifted on that one or not, but we got maybe one, and there may have been a second that we flinched, but we pretty much were running the plays that we called and we signaled, and it wasn't like no one could understand what we were doing, and we do the nonverbal cadence. That's how we start camp, because we know there'll be moments like this that you got to be able to function. So I think we functioned fine as far as being able to get our plays communicated and run.
Mark, you've had 1 3-game losing streak in your entire career, and this is a group of players that you didn't recruit. You know some of them obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What sense do you get that they're going to be able to flip this?
They're great. They're great kids. They're awesome. They're going to fight. That's what I see.
Anything else?
Yeah, Mark, obviously I just walked in.
Yeah.
Is Brad okay physically? He got so pounded tonight. I don't know if somebody asked you that.
You have compassion. You have good compassion for people.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's part of the game. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna get tackled. I mean, if you're a running back, you get hit every time you run the ball. Those guys, you should feel bad for those guys sometimes. Yeah, a guy ran 25 times, he got tackled 25 times, he got hit 40 times. But, the quarterback is in a more vulnerable position, though, certainly, when he's in the pocket and he's looking downfield and trying to make decisions and trying to make throws. And I just, in my opinion, I will say this. I don't think I coached him well enough in this game for him to be able to cut the ball loose with confidence, according to the different coverages that presented themselves. So, in other words, was his decision-making process clean enough to where he could, on rhythm, on time, cut the ball loose. First, second, third progression sometimes, get the ball out. You know, the tape will show more, but, you know, to Virginia Tech's credit, they do mix a lot of different coverages and a few different coverages that most people don't run. And so some of the traditional passing game doesn't fit. So, but I've got to do a better job where Brad knows when I stick my foot in the ground, this is my first progression. When I hitch up once, that's my second, and the ball's got to come out after that. And it didn't a couple times because I think he was uncertain of what to do.
Did anybody ask you about the running game and just kind of what was and wasn't working?
Yeah, I couldn't. The comment I made was my first impression was they defeated blocks and made some made some plays. You know, we had a few RPOs that had success throwing the little nows or the swings out there, and a couple where we pulled the ball and hit a couple guys inside on some inside routes and had some success doing that. And a couple times we blocked well and popped a couple out of there, but just have to watch the tape.
Mark, I know that this is probably something else just when you watch the tape, but there was a little bit of movement on the offensive line, tried some, you know, Alex Gall came in for McDermott and went back to McDermott. What did you kind of see in the heat of the game?
Yeah, I don't know. I only remember one, maybe two times we flinched. And you talk about the offensive line jumping, that type of thing.
No, just the offensive line play in general tonight. Just your thoughts.
My thought is that we are a very, I think we're a strong team as far as our loyalty to one another. And, you know, I'm not going to take a position group and say anything, you know, right now until I look at the tape just to be sure what I'm saying is true. But, you know, we'll handle those things internally as far as what we think we need to do to improve in a lot of areas. It's there's a lot of issues that, you know, didn't go well, and it wasn't, you know, everybody's got a piece of it.
Coach,
Couple more questions.
so their quarterback Evans is a dual threat. How much harder is it to defense a guy like that? Hoss, he can run and throw.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Those guys, the guys that can run, you know, bring a little different dynamic to the game, and just like even the last play where he pulls it and scores, and you know, just when you know you got to run it, and you got a quarterback that can run it, it changes the numbers. You know, if the quarterback, you know, hands the ball off and is really never a runner, then, you know, most people defensively can outnumber you in the run game and still keep a safety deep. If you have a quarterback who can run, you keep one safety deep, you got a blocker for everybody else, so somebody's got to defeat a block, and that's the issue. You know, a lot of times in the run game, you have these guys that are coming into the box you hear about that are unblocked players, and you know, and that's where, you know, defenses, you know, have a easier time stopping the run if the quarterback cannot run. But that's where you got to be better at play action pass. You got to be better at you know, throwing and catching, dropping back and protecting, and all those things. If that's the type of quarterback you have.
Okay, last question, guys.
Mark, how much of tonight was just mental mistakes, drops, things like that?
I don't know. There's a little bit of that, a little bit of everything. You know, unfortunately, you know, a couple late penalties again. You know, helping out drives, and you know, it's effort stuff. You know, it's not just. I don't think guys are trying to have a foolish penalty. I think they're trying to play hard as they can possibly play. And, you know, sometimes on the sideline it's hard to see, is a guy in, is a guy out? You know, is he riding down? You know, sometimes it's hard to tell. You know, I know, I guess Norton jumped on the pile or whatever it was. I mean, if he wasn't given effort, he never would have had that penalty, I can say that. You know, now the judgment of whether or not he should have, you know, done that or not, you know, we'll see on tape. I didn't get a real good look at it, but, you know, that was an effort. like I said, if he didn't give effort, there would not have been a penalty. If Carter's not giving great effort, you're not gonna have the penalty. So you don't wanna get too crazy about it, but we gotta be smarter, we gotta be wiser with the decisions that we're making out there.
Great.
All
Thanks,
right,
everyone.
thank you.